What's up, guys? Today we're coming at you with a Odd Eyes ENDYMION deck profile. So let's jump into this deck profile and let's see what we're coming at you with. We're running 3 of the main Odd Eyes that you want to get into your hand as fast as possible. This card is like the staple for the deck. It's your main high scale. It's your Odd Eyes Art Pendulum Dragon. This guy, when he's in your pen scale, whenever one of your Odd Eyes is destroyed, it's just going to allow you to be able to get that extra free special summon that you need and just keep the deck plussing every time. Also running the 1 Odd Eyes Original OG Pendulum Dragon and 1 Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon. These two both are very good and useful for the deck. Odd Eyes, their OG, is just good for making sure you can get that extra damage in on your opponent whenever they have lower attack. Get that double damage in. Also too, if he's in the pen scale, at the end phase, if you need to get a search, you can't get that search 1500 lower pendulum. Also very useful. You know, you got your Phantom, he's going to be able to do that. You know, he's going to give your, in the pen scale, he's going to give your monsters attack point boost, which is very useful depending on what plays you have to go up against, and, you know, can help out with some plays. If he's pendulum summoned, depending on how many Odd Eyes you have in your pen scale, it's going to give an extra 1200 burn for that, so that's where it helps you in the OTK. We're also running 2 Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. Odd Eyes Persona Dragon is very useful, helping to negate extra deck monster effects, so that can be very useful to you. Very good defender, very good low scale. Also running 1 Odd Eyes Performapal Dissolver and 1 Performapal Odd Eyes Synchron. These two are very good utility cards for the deck to be able to either fusion summon or do your synchro plays, whatever you want to make, and it helps to just, you know, depending on how you want to make your plays, they can be very useful as you switch out cards in your deck. Very useful. We're also running the 3 Servant. So we got 3 Servant of ENDYMION. We got the 1, the Mighty Master, and we got their little pet, Mythical Beast Jackal King. This engine is just very much needed for the deck. It helps to get around, you know, problematic hand traps, things like that. Servant's gonna help you to get either of these 3 out, depending on what you need to make, depending on if you're going up against Sky Striker. You know, depending on if you're going up against, you know, some crazy monster effect based deck, these two can be very useful for getting, you know, over those cards. Very helpful for the deck. We're also running the 3 Chronograph and the 1 Time Gazer. It'd be good if we could get Stargraph back. You know, it'd be good to be able to get him back, but right now we got Time Gazer and the Chronograph engine going pretty good. You know, you don't have to play this if you don't want to, but it is very useful too for being a good normal summon for this deck. Anytime, you know, one of your monsters or cards gets destroyed, you can special summon your Chronograph and get another special summon with that, and that helps you go easily into your Electromite play. Or just, you know, pop this and special summon this and, you know, get your plays going like you normally do. We're also running the 3 Dark Worm and the 1 Donut. You know, this is just an engine that helps many decks out to be able to send, you know, your Dark Worm to the graveyard, get the free special summon, get to search for your donut for your extra calories. You know, it's very useful and helps to, the fact that this is a level 7 helps with some of your XYZ plays with your Odd Eyes cards. It's very helpful, and if push comes to shove, you can banish it out and just keep your plays rolling. Lastly, for the monsters, running 1 Aether. This is just a good card to help keep constant removal on board. You know, if this card does get outed, you know, they destroy it, send it to the pendulum zone. As long as you're able to pendulum summon it back out, you still have a way to keep, you know, banishing off your opponent's cards, and that can, you know, start monstering out your opponent in ways that they really don't expect. But that's it for the monsters. For the spell cards, running 3 Allure Darkness. This is a very good card for the deck, and whenever you start making some of the plays, if you can get a little foresight for what you're going to be making your plays for, this card can actually help you make better plays just because of the way you banish out. So it's very useful. Same thing, running 1 Sacred Sword 7 stars. We got plenty of level 7s in the deck. We can get rid of one of them that's, you know, not really needed at the moment in time. Draw those 2 cards and, you know, refresh our hand a little bit and keep the plays going. We're also running 3 Into the Void. Into the Void is just another little card that helps to get extra counters on our Servant. on our jackal, you know, things like that. And also too, to be able to make sure that we have that extra resources keep adding to our hand. Just make sure you have 3 cards in your hand and empty out your hand onto the field before you have to discard it. Also running 1 upstart. This is just another Into the Void pretty much. The only difference is you're giving your opponent 1,000 life points, but that's usually not going to matter with this deck because you're going to really be pushing hard when you do push. Running 3 Spiral Frame Strike. In my opinion, this is the best searcher in the game by far, just to be able to search out any of your level 7 odd eyes. Also too, if you have odd eyes controlled on the field somewhere, you're able to destroy one of the problematic cards on the field. Very, very useful. We also running 3 Spell Power Mastery. Spell Power Mastery is just good for making sure we get that servant as fast as possible. If we got the servant, go ahead and get that Mighty Master, and that way we can just start popping the field. Also running the 1 Terraforming and 2 Sky Iris. This is just a good little way to get to the Sky Iris as fast as possible. You don't want to, in my opinion, you don't want to run 3. 3 is good, don't get me wrong, but I have an issue if I don't like drawing multiples of Sky Iris. Anything that can be activated only once per turn, I don't like drawing multiples of, and it's starting to get to the point where it's just like there are other cards I can put into the deck to fill that space. So, but it's very good for being able to protect your odd eyes and be able to get to search for the odd eyes when one of them's popped, the card is popped, so it's very useful. And lastly, for the spell cards, I'm running 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Dragon Shrine. This is to make sure we get that Dark Worm into the graveyard as fast as possible. And if push comes to shove, we can send one of our odd eyes to the graveyard to set up for other plays. But that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we're running 2 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. This is just good utility cards, you know, depending on if you want to get it out with your Absolute Dragon or you want to use your Odd Eyes Dissolver. Depending on however you want to go about it, you still have 2 backup ways to be able to get Odd Eyes Vortex on the board and keep control of the field state. Also running the 1 Scar Light Red Dragon Archfiend, the Ignister, the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, and the FA Dom Dragster. The Scarlight, I took out the if you don't want to put in negation, I feel like negation sometimes can be too much considering you got the Jackal King and you got your Mighty Master. So just be able to get those 2 on board, or just be able to go into this and wipe the board for time, could be very useful. Ignister's just good all around, just to be able to get him on the board, non-target removal, and it can help to also trigger your Arc Pendulum depending on how you set your plays up. Meteor Burst is just good for hating on extra deck monster effects in the battle phase, or if you have to, just be able to grab them out of the pin scale and set up other plays. And FA Dom Dragster, another card that can just stop, you know, problematic spell cards if you don't get your Mighty Master out there, but all of it's very useful. Same thing, we've got the 1 Odd Eyes Absolute, 1 Red Flare Metal, the Big Eye, and the Abyss Dweller. Once again, you know, you got your Odd Eyes Absolute. It's going to be able to pretty much negate an attack in the battle phase, especially some of the Odd Eyes out of the graveyard. And that's what I was talking about. If you have your graveyard, depending on how you got set up, which Odd Eyes you might want special summon, set up the graveyard for that. Get him out. Also, too, you got your Flare Metal to be able to eat up your opponent in time. And sometimes just sticking this out there is enough to really make your opponent, you know, really hate the plays that they make. Big Eye is just good for snatch stealing your opponent's stuff. You know, if they put something out there a little too shady, if you survive it, steal it, make them pay for it. And Abyss Dweller, like I said, just being able to control a board, hating on their opponent's graveyards, locking them out of it, can be very useful. We're running the 1 Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, the staple for any Pendulum deck. You want to have this guy in there. If we got multiples of it, it'd be great. Be great to have an Odd Eyes Link monster, but till we get that, we got the Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. For our GUARDRAGON package, we're running the 1 GUARDRAGON Pixie, the 1 Erratic Steel Heavenly Spillers or Dragon Balls, and the 1 Triple Burst Dragon. I really like this package a lot right now. You know, your Pixie, like I said, you're running the Lower Darkness, you're running the Sacred Swords 11 7 stars. To be able to banish out one of your dragons and be able to bring it back with this and just keep going with your combo play is very useful to you. Being able to pull one out of the deck is good, but the fact is being able to use the synergy for the Allure Darkness, not just counting those dragons as gone, is very good. Also too, being able to grab a monster out of the graveyard too could be very helpful too. Like I said, you make a wish on the Dragon Balls, you end up coming out, you know, on the plus side. And Triple Burst does have the effect that you can, if it stays on the field, you can tribute this off and help to bring back, you know, your heavy metal for Electromite. So that can be useful to you depending on if you don't want to complete the Guardragon play altogether. You can leave this on the field, tribute it off, get the Electromite back, and then use its effect to, you know, keep your plays going. And lastly, for the extra deck, I'm running the one Borlo Dragon just because, like I said, I like to steal. You know, being able to make sure you can control the board is pretty, you know, important aspect to the game. So be able to control that. Your opponent gets too big a monster over there, go into this, steal that monster, beat your opponent over the head. But that's it for the deck profile, guys. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. This is Man from Team DBZ Biscuit. We're out.